Divine greetings, entities, energies, lovelies, bodies of light, the seekers and sojourners of truth. 144, chosen of the chosen few. You all know who you are. I greet you in the love that lights the truth from my heart to yours. I am Celestial Earth and this divine energy, beautiful cosmos, essence of it all, reporting to you live from nowhere other than dimension number 5. Stand up if you're here with me. Welcome to 5D. If this is your first time, get a good look around, take a deep breath, breathe in the atmosphere, the energy. If you're coming across any of these channels like mine, then you're in 5D. If you're wondering, well, what is 5D? Well, if you're seeing any of these, right, and life is rushing by like that, that loud, contraption going by, then you're probably in 5D because it's a lot of distractions just like that. Out here in these spiritual streets, you out here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And as usual, I bring you the news to infuse if you so choose to infuse with the light on the light grid like that. If you choose not to, remember that if you're not infusing, you're refusing. Ashe. And if you refuse, be prepared. Be prepared to be fried on the grid. And it's a lot of frying going on. Right? So whether you're one of the 144 and you're super sensitive, you're definitely going to be feeling it. And you're probably already feeling this 369. That's what I'm really here to bring to you right now. Lighting up on the light grid is a day like today. Happy 369. This is all about the manifestations through the transitions in time. Right? And this is what I really like to talk about the 369. So I'm glad today is a 369 because we have the opportunity to go a little bit deeper into the 369 and what it is. A lot of people look at it as manifestations, and it is. But it's a little bit deeper than that. It has to do with the dimensions. The 3 and the 6 and the 9 are main portals in the dimensions of time. There are 9 dimensions. Of course, there's more. You may hear people say, oh, there's more than 9 dimensions. There are, but it's only in multiples of 9. It's only in the cycle of 9, the infinite number of 9, right? There's power in 9, and we got to talk about that number 9, but that's for another day. This cycle of 9 is what I call it because you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and after that you transition. That's why I called it transitions in time. I can't even say I call it, but let's say I'm seeing it as that because it is what it is. I can't make it that. It is the transitions in time. Ashe. So as we cycle through, and this happens, allow me to speak multidimensionally right now. I'm not speaking from one dimension. On so many levels and within so many layers, there are dimensions of time. We are multidimensional beings, and as we transit through these timelines in our soul, it's like transitioning through dimensions within our soul. It is the actual travel through the dimensions, the dimensional lines within our soul that we cross into the next timeline. Kind of look at it like that. And every time you complete a 9, you complete let's say you transition into another level of your timeline in your soul's design. So it's more than we think. And yes, in order to manifest things, it's also how we co-create. It's a part of our creatability, if that's a word. And it has to do with the 3, the 6, and the 9. And if you know, the main thing in it is the 3, because it's all multiples of 3, 3, 3. How do you get to the 6? You need 2 3s. How do you get to the 9? You need 3 3s. So there's really power in the number 3. We also got to talk about that. It's like we got to separate them and talk about them differently. But it's understanding that this 369 is the cosmic design. It's speaking to us through the numbers of time. And the 3 is always going to be going into the 6 and into the 9. It's always going to carry you into the 6 and the 9. Ashe? So it's not just these magic manifesting numbers that Tesla came across. Yes, he found the secret that was always there. That's not really a secret. It's there for all of us. But we have to expand our consciousness to find these synchronicities, these divine numerological synchronicities in time, because the numbers are a design. These these dimensions are portals in time, and it portals you through. So 1, 2, 3 is the main, I call it the main port, 3. And that holds dimension 1, 2, and 3. And then there's multiples of repeating this dimension that takes you to the next one. You need another 3 to carry you into the 6, right? So you have that. It's almost like you carry that first 1, 2, 3, and then you go into the next set, which is 4, 5, 6. Dimension 4, dimension 5, and dimension 6. And it's also carrying 1, 2, 3 that you've previously gathered in the creative completion. Faithfully, I'm not losing anybody here. Right? And then the same thing, when you reach that point, then you carry all of that then into another layer of 3, the third layer of 3 into the 9, right? And so with that, you'll have the 7, 8, 9 that carries you into that. But you're also carrying 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3. You're carrying that with you, what you've gathered to get to that entire completion. That spiritual completion houses all of those dimensions. That means you have gone through each one. Ashe. So it's a lot more than just these magical numbers is what I want us to understand. But yes, activating them is like a day like today. What makes us tune in? Well, as usual, when there are portals, when there are special days like this, it's always according to where the collective consciousness is. And because the collective consciousness is still on the Gregorian calendar, just like I say with the portals, then the date holds these let's say energetic hotspots. It holds these portals in time. So because of this being a 6th month, for those who are wondering, well, where's the 369, right? I should have went over that first. The 6th month, the 3rd day, it's the 3rd day of the 6th month. So 3, 6, and the 9 is the year, the universal year of 9, right? So to let you know, with that said, today is not the only day of the 369, although you may hear some things that say, you know, this particular 369 won't happen again until the year, I think they said 2034, if I'm not mistaken. The 2, the 3, the 4, something like that, because the 3 and the 4 is 7 plus 2 is 9. Okay, got it. So in that year, we'll have another day like today, as in the 3rd day of the 6th month. But there are other 369s encoded in this year, right? So for instance, if you go back to March, you'll have the 6th day of the 3rd month, and that is a 369 as well, right? And then whatever other numbers in that month, that would add up to 6. So, for example, 5 and 1. So on the 15th would have also been a 6, right? And the 2 and the 4, right? So you have like at least 3 days within that month that held the code of 369, more indirectly. And even in this month, get this, in this month, there are other days besides today that holds the code 369. There is the 12th and the 21st, other days that has the 3. So we're in the 6th month. Today's the 3rd day, and there are other days that also has the code of 3, and that would be the 12th and the 21st. Ashe. So look out for those days as well, to utilize this day to do some journaling, to tapping in, to manifesting, but not just because you're gaining wealth, you're manifesting your new timeline. Let's look at it like that. Let's, like, faithfully, those of us who have been walking through the change and the echoes of how to change our values in the earth, are not looking so much at material things anymore. This is not about manifesting a car and a house, although it can be used for that, and you can manifest that. This is really, the manifestation is manifesting our new timelines. And in manifesting your new timelines, you may also manifest these material things, maybe more indirectly, or, you know, I don't want to say you can't do it at all. But this right now is a focal point on us manifesting our communicational, you know, light grid, us lighting up on the light grid and the communications that are coming online, the expansion where Jupiter is in Gemini right now. So the expansion of communication, especially where Mercury is like about to align with it right now. So all of these, put these into play. We're expanding and we're manifesting in our new true timeline how we are expressing ourselves, how we're showing up as new 5D bodies, how we're accessing. A lot of us are manifesting our crystalline bodies. Hello, let's not forget the crystalline, grid. We have multiple grids. All right, Ashe. So with that, let me get into a little bit of the download of what was happening with today. Faithfully, I shared enough of that. If there's more, I'll add to it. With this, there's a code day of today. Get this. There's definitely something about the 9. The code day of today is also a 9. When you add up all the numbers, you're going to get an 18. And that 1 and that 8 is a 9. So the code day is a 9. So there's transitions. The message I was getting from that is transitions are spiritual completions. Let's understand that. I really want us to understand, because I was getting a lot about transition. Even as we see transition as death, this is another layer and another level that those who pass on and transition out of even their physical body have completed. There's a spiritual completion, literally, and their spirit leaves the body. So that too is a transition in time, right? So transitions are spiritual completions. The many levels of transitions are spiritual completions. So as you're transiting, see, the planets are not the only things transiting. We too are transiting. And so as you're transiting in time and through time, as you are also the vessel in time, you are having spiritual completions within your soul's design. Ashe? So the 369, let me give a little bit of what I got from this. The 369 is a code 9 day that highlights the transition in time. It is a stage of transition that culminates the completion of a cycle through the dimensions in time. As we are shifting timelines, while timelines are collapsing, we are closing out old cycles within the dimensions of our soul and creating new true timelines in our 5D expansion. So we're closing out something. It's a not like this day is really highlighting a transition. I don't know how many of you are seeing it, but for those who it's for, especially the 144, you are definitely, no matter how you may be feeling, there is a transition, right? And it's while the timelines are collapsing, of course, we're accessing and we're creating, because this number 3 is creative completion. And remember, this is all about multiples of 3 over and over again to the completion of 9. Ashe? So we're experiencing that right now, right? Here comes the light bugs. This month holds a code of 6, right? So I want us to focus on this month, because the 3, in case I haven't mentioned it, the 3 is creative completion, the 6 is receptive completion, the 9 is spiritual completion. So with that said, this month holding the code of a 6, according to the masses of the Gregorian calendar. For those of us who are on 5D, this is actually the 3rd month. So this is actually for us to find our 369 in this, which not really, because this year is a universal year of 1 for us, right? So we don't have a universal year of 9. But this is our 3rd month. Let me just leave it at that. I don't want to make it any more complex. Let's go by the 369 according to the collective consciousness. This month holds the code 6 of receptive completion, which emphasizes the act of surrender and release in order to receive the next layer, which is the 2nd layer, right, of creative completion that includes this other layer. It includes the physical spiritual balance of change, which is 5, along with the foundational balance of 4. So this 2nd layer, this next layer or 2nd layer, which is the 6 is all inclusive of that 2nd layer of 3, which is the 4, 5, and 6. So remember, the 4 is foundational balance, the 5 is physical spiritual balance, which is change. So it's like once we reach that right after the physical balance of change, we go right into the 6. So we have that receptive completion because of that physical spiritual balance that allows us to be more receptive, and it allows us to do what? Surrender. In order to be in true receptivity, this is a month that is going to require us to surrender. Right? So if I was doing an update on this month, I would be talking a lot about surrender and receptivity as we are expanding our expressions and communication and so forth. So it is really taking us and just gathering what we've been through, what we've gone through over the past couple weeks as we've gone through the month of change. You know, last moon cycle had a lot to do with change, and it had a lot to do with us having our cosmic assessment. And it's like now after that assessment, we're in this month where we are manifesting the theme that we had even in the palindrome is like leading us into, and we were already in the Gemini season, so we're already in this month technically, literally. This moon cycle is highlighting how we are manifesting, and it's manifesting our new timeline. So after the cosmic assessment, what are we now manifesting? So this month is allowing us to surrender, to be able to release whatever has been coming up, whatever the assessment has brought to the forefront. It is not to be entangled with, but to allow us to release and surrender. So kind of look at this whole month as a 6. It's the midpoint of this whole transitional cycle of the entire completion of 9. 6 is the midpoint, and it's very important because it is where we now allow ourselves to be receptive, to allow this creative completion that is coming through, the creative completion times 2 that is coming through. To be able to even get to the fullness, we have to stop and allow for receptivity, which means we're allowing for more instructions, communication this month. Our communication is going to be big on how we are allowing ourselves to hear, right? Not just about what we're speaking and saying, but most importantly, how are we taking in, how are we receiving information according to these changes, this physical, spiritual balance that brings forth change, that allows us to change perspectives, break illusions, and receive our codes. Ashe. So the 6 is really, this is an important part of manifestation. There's no manifesting without these 3 major dimensional portals, right? There has to be a creative completion. There has to be a receptive completion in order to get to that creative completion. Ashe. So that is with those up to the 6, right? So this junction, speaking of the 6, it's like a junction between the 3 and the 9. This junction in the completion will carry us over to the 3rd layer of creative completion that leads us to the fullness of the transition as the spiritual completion, which includes the manifestation as 7 and the infinite existence as 8, or the repetition, leading us into that fullness of the spiritual completion. So that last 3 has to have the manifestation. After you pass that midpoint of receptive completion and you've received, it's after you receive that you are now manifesting, right? And in that manifestation, then you tap into the infinite existence of this manifestation, which is a repetition. You are repeatedly manifesting over and over again until you unfold into the fullness, right? Until your complete manifold just opens up, because it takes repetition to solidify your understanding. A lot of times people don't understand 8. They think they do, because it's like, ooh, infinite. Infinite means eternal repetition. It means repeat something over and over again. It means that when you think you've got it, not quite. You got to do it again. You got it, now repeat it and repeat it and repeat it till that becomes your new timeline, till that becomes the true storyline in your timeline, and then you have completed. Now there is a transition, and now it is time to cycle to the next level, but after there's been repetition. Ashe. So that last 3, that is the 3rd layer of 3. So you're seeing the expansion of three, 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 multiples of three. And in each three, there's a new layer to be added. And it's carrying over, always carrying the 1, 2, 3. Right? And in the first three, in case I haven't mentioned that, in the first three, that first layer is the first dimension and the second dimension. And the first dimension is coming from the law of oneness, right? The law of oneness or unification. That's ultimately where it's all coming from, right? Knowing where we're coming from. And then 2 is the harmony of duality. And after you harmonize that duality, you create, right? Because by harmony comes the creation thereof. That is ultimately coming from the law of oneness. Ashe. So the creative completion is very powerful. It's a repetition of that in every layer, in every step, in every dimensional aspect. There has to be a creative completion. There always has to be a 1, 2, 3. Coming out of the law of oneness, harmonizing duality to create. Coming out of the law of oneness, harmonizing duality to create. Coming out of the law of oneness, harmonizing duality to create. 3 times, bringing us to the completion of 9. Ashe? There's power in the 3s. So with that said, is there anything else Spirit has in regards to this? Because there's so much I was getting with this 369. I was just in my meditative mode. I was, in the awe of it, listening to some 369 meditations. Okay, what do I have that you can do? You can listen to some 369 meditations. You can look out for the other 369 days in case you didn't get this today and you got it the next day. That's fine. We have 2 more in this month that you can align with. And you can still align with it. You can still pull up a 369. Listen to the meditation. Go within. See what the 369 is for you. What are you closing out? What is the transition for you? What timelines have been collapsing so that you can know what you are, completing and transitioning out of. Ashe. So the thing to highlight as we talk about those 2 other days, there's the 12th and the 21st. Those will be the other 2 days that hold that 369 code. And in between them are 9 days. So what I share with you, I'm sharing you as it was given to me. There is something for us to do. I'm speaking especially and specifically to the 144 because there's always something to do. There is 9 days. I kid you not. Count it for yourself. From today to the 12th, there's 9 days. From the 12th to the 21st, there's 9 days. So there really is an emphasis on this 9, this creative completion. This whole year is the 9. So there's an emphasis on what we are really closing out as these timelines are collapsing. So utilize this time. This is where we can utilize this 6 month of receptivity and surrendering to be practical. There has to be a practical application that allows us to move. It's not enough just to know these things and just to pray and meditate. There is actual practice, because by what you do is what you're sending out in the vibratory field. And that is, according to your true heart vibrations, is how the universe is going to respond to you. And that magnifies your manifestation of what you're manifesting. And it has to be in alignment with your true heart vibrations, not just what you say, but what you truly know to be true and what you hold in a strong belief in the core of your being. So that's why it's important to go in and really look at what you're really holding there versus just looking at what you would like to have or what you would want or what you think is there. Ashe? So the work, homework, my lovely light body, there's work to do if you feel so inclined to do and be true to you. So these 9 days, what I'm getting is that we honor it just like it was shared to you. Within these 9 days, it's 3 sets of 3s. So in the first set of 3, you can do something that has to do with 1, 2, 3, that has to do with a creative completion. The first day, remembering what is the law of 1 that you're coming out of. The second day, what are you harmonizing? What is the duality that you're harmonizing? And the third day, see your creative completion, whatever that looks like for you, right? I can't tailor it. I can just give it to you how it was coming. But it is to be about your creative completion in those first 3 days. So even if you're working on something, if you're manifesting something, if you've been given a divine idea and you haven't yet gotten to work on it yet, now is the time. Ashe. So put the pen to the paper. Do whatever. Just jot down what you have to do. Record it if you have to, but work on those 3 days. Journaling would be really good, as that's a form of communication. All right, so the first 3 days of those 9 days, you're going to do your creative completion. The next 3 days that leads up to receptive completion, you're going to work on your foundational balance. Day 4, day 5, the physical spiritual balance, which is change, and then into the 6th day, which is receptive completion. So in those 3 days, you may want to be more in a mode of surrender and receptivity, especially on the 6th day, right? And whatever you're doing that has to do with foundational balance, you're in a space of surrender, or putting yourself in that place of surrender, because you're in that second layer of 3 that leads up to the 6th. And then the last 3 days of that 9, you want to work on the manifestation, the repetition of it, the infinite existence of it on the 8th day. And on the 9, recognizing your spiritual completion, right? That it is complete. Being able to conclude and look at what it is that you're transitioning out of. Ashe. So you have 2 sets of 9 days to work that out. So you have from here to the after today. Starting tomorrow would be day 1. So today's the 3rd. So you have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. See, I'm counting it for you. Ashe. And then after the 12th, you have 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So that's the next set of 9 days. So you have 2 sets of 9 days to work it out. So we got some divine homework to work on. So with that said, I believe I shared that with you. Transition, spiritual completion. You have 2 sets of 9 to be able to work that out. It's kind of like a vortex when you look at it. For those of you who are aware of the vortex that I've shared. You have 9 days to complete whatever that is. And that is practicing this transition in time. So happy 369, however you work it out. Get your creative completion to your receptive completion to your spiritual completion, and transition to your next timeline is waiting there for you. We all here in 5D, the place to be. Ashe. With that, any reminders would be the calendars are coming out. They're coming out. I will let you know when they're out. So if you want one, email me, AKILAHTEXTRI @gmail.com. Anything else? Oh, the workshop. The workshop is coming up for those of you, the full moon, divine chakra moon workshop, and it's going to be in alignment with these days that we're talking about. So if you're working on something, if there's something that's coming up for you, if you want to carry your 369 into an expansion in time, get into the full moon workshop. It is a full moon transmutation that is going to help you transmute, and we're doing it a little differently this year. This is I've done it since 2021, so 22, 23, 34, 35. This is our 4th annual. We in 2025? 4th annual, since I started in June of 2021, the 4th annual Divine Chakra Moon Workshop. So get in. If you can't do all 7 days, you can do whatever day that shows up for you, that pops to you. You'll get what is for you. So also, if you're interested in that, email me at akilatextry.com. Not .com. Why am I .comming? akilatextry at gmail.com. Is that it? Y'all know me and this technology. Work with me. I still need a tech. So if someone's out there techie, please let me know and get at me at akilatextry@gmail. Ashe? With that said, enjoy the rest of your 3, 6, 9 transition in time, spiritual completion. Get it, get it, get it. With that said, love you all. Each one, reach one, teach one. If you don't know where to start in your big, beautiful heart. Shine your light from the inside out and be the candle that lights the next one and the next one and the next one. Peace, love, and light.